Let's talk human design from a different lens. Source has no form, except every form that exists is source in form. The human is no different. The human is a bioorganic machine the source created and put a patternized atomic structure together with memory, traits, characteristics, and called it an ego and sent you on your way. But really, you are not you. It is source playing you, not the other way around. Source is a damn good actor. But there comes a point where we have to stop looking back at what was, and there's a lot of people still stuck on what the ancients did. Let me be very clear. They didn't have it all figured out. A lot of people romanticize what they were as if we're going backwards. We most certainly are not. That was us then, and we took what we had to work with as far as we could. But you know what you never hear in those stories, in those myths? You never hear about like the general consensus of the people, right? It's always just like the few, and you just kind of like assume that everything was great. But this has been a progressive alchemical experiment. That's what the human is. Alchemy, all chemicals. That is what you are. You are all chemicals. You are a machine that fires off a bunch of chemicals that gives you an experience, and this is an experiment. Experiment breaks down to experience mental, because that's what we are doing. We are experiencing the mental consciousness. Consciousness is source. There's a conception that you got to kill the ego, and this is a bit misunderstood, but there's a lot of truth to it as well. You see, the characters that we all play, we know is our ego. Like, it is not us. No one is. And everybody knows this. We're a soul in a body playing out a character. So there are levels to move through in order to understand kind of the hierarchy of yourself and how it works. Now, what you call the higher self is your inner architect. It is not the ego. Not your ego. It is your divine ego companion, right? See, we aren't just remembering as in recalling what was. We are remembering, putting the members of the team back in their place. You have to shed the little fictitious ego that you were, the one that lives the life in society, and that served its purpose. It was training ground, right? It gave you everything that you needed to mix the chemicals that you are inside. And when I say all chemicals, it's real simple. When you understand that it is all chemicals that give you every experience that you have, well, then you can start looking at your chemicals and your experience differently, because you are the crucible, which means alchemy is happening within you at all times. So let's say somebody cuts you off in traffic. You get pissed off, flip them off. Your neurotransmitter sends a signal down to your adrenal glands, which triggers the cortisol to respond, and literally that sits right in your root chakra. So you are now responding from your root chakra. What happens? You get stressed, you get the fight or flight, you get all those negative emotions. Same situation happens, you smile and wave. Your neurotransmitter sends up and little serotonin pops out. Doesn't faze you at all. That's a totally different experience. You know what the difference was? The chemicals that you called into action through the way that you responded to the situation. Now, once the ego realizes that it's more, the next step is to step into your divine ego. And there's a very simple way to know this. It has a different set of understanding that it comes with. And it is the one that must team up with the inner architect. Right? The ego itself loves to hold on to knowledge and feel smart, but it's not as capable to understand the knowledge as it thinks it is. It takes knowledge and makes it shit that it is not. I'm gonna give you an example. There are literally people that make videos about quantum jumping in their sleep or quantum jumping timelines. Why? Because it fucking sounds good. You literally had a mood swing. That's it, bro. You are an atomic structure. Anytime that you shift, it's no different than changing the radio on the dial. So every time you shift moods and you shift experiences, because the chemicals that you're firing off are giving you a different experience, well, you're shifting. There's nothing to celebrate. I probably had 2 timeline jumps while I'm on this video here. And that is why it is important to walk through the knowledge. And that's why I teach the way that I do. That's why I do not give the knowledge up front and like the definitions. We did that this iteration. We literally gave all the knowledge out, and all of the sacredness got dumbed down to waiting on source for a paycheck. Those who know how to apply the knowledge are the ones that keep you boxed in the containment, right? Those who know how to apply the knowledge are the ones that get out of that containment. That's it. Now, the way that we get out of that containment is a group effort. Let's go back to alchemy. One of the dumbest things we could ever argue about is goddamn skin color. Like, the race argument was always one of the dumbest, but there are 4 colors to alchemy. Rubedo, red, I'm not saying these in order, Negredo, black, Citrinatus, yellow, Albedo, white. Black, red, white, yellow. Look around the world at the skin colors. Do you understand that this is alchemy in action? Based on your skin color doesn't mean that you come from a line of white or black or Asian or Indian ancestors, homie. You could have been something completely different last go round. Your skin color does, however, give you some really good clues into what type of alchemical properties that you bring for the whole. But see, here's the thing. Alchemy is a process. And until the entire process is collectively done, it cannot be complete. And coagulation cannot happen. It requires unity. And this is what the whole unity is about. It's about the alchemical process that we are going through as a collective, acting as if we're independent for the whole. But we have got to start applying things. Again, the human loves to fucking feel smart with things. You know, like quantum physics. Bro, it is thoughts become things. Quantum physics is thoughts become things. That's exactly what we showed you with the light experiment. When you observe light, a thought, and you give it enough attention, that waveform becomes a particle. That becomes your reality. That becomes your thing. Its thoughts become things. Superpositioning. That is what we are all doing. So let's just picture Source as this one infinite sandbox. And then I'm over here and you're over there and everybody else is over there. We're all playing in the same sandbox, but we all think that we're not, right? We all have like our own individual little bubbles within the one sandbox. That's fucking superpositioning. That's how it works. And everything is displayed to us actually really simply here, right? Atoms, the building blocks of life. As kids, they were given to us as Legos. Different shapes, different sizes, put them together, build different things. If you build a castle with Legos, that's a castle. If you build a house, it's a house. If you tear both of them down, it's Legos. So, if you are wanting to learn more in depth about any of the things that I speak of, you can find me at Archetype13.com. My work is energetic resonance based. There are prices on the website. It is not just money. I do exchange, and if you're aligned, we will find a way to work together. If you're not, I will let you know and send you on your way. Archetype13.com.